Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Welcome back. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate you checking out my channel. Toro Recycler, the SmartStow 22-inch. Don't forget it. It happens to be the model number 20339. I'll put that down below. So it's the 725 163cc. So a few days ago, I was out here working on equipment. Guy stopped. I recognize him. A neighbor lives down the street. I've seen him drive by quite often. So he stopped and said, "Hey, do you work on equipment?" So I should stop working in the front yard. I'm getting too many neighbors stopping. So I says, sometimes he says, "Well, I got a machine. I can't. It's hard to pull. Would you mind taking a look at it?" So I said, "Sure." So he went home and pushed it down the street. So I says, "Give me a few days to look at it." So here I am looking at it now. So I kind of, with him standing here, I saw there was no cover, no filter. I says, "Where's the cover and filter?" "Oh, I lost it." And I said, "You've been using it like that?" And he said, "Yeah." So we're going to need a carb clean no matter what, because there's going to be a lot of buildup in here. So I pulled the dipstick, because he said, "Oh, I washed the deck off. It was dirty, and I see some leftover oil here under the exhaust." So that raised the bell. So I pulled the dipstick. He had oil way up to here. I said, "Holy schmoly." I said, "Here's your high mark. This is just like a car. You've got it way too much. That might be part of the reason why this thing is hard to pull over. The cylinder may be filled with oil." So sure than shit, I put it in a used automatic transmission fluid, and we have about 24 ounces here, which I poured off. I'm going to give them this. It's still brand new oil. So I'm going to say, whenever you need to top it off, you use this. So 20, the Torx is a 20 to get this off, T20 to get the red nameplate off, 8mm to get the 3 bolts here to hold the recoil down. Those come off, 8mm. Let's pull the carb, clean that real quick. And he's got a full tank of gas. I didn't grill him on the gas, so we'll consider that as we're working, whether to use that gas or not. I don't know how long this thing has been sitting. We might have to just dump this. And then I'll coach him about non-ethanol fuel. So this thing seems to be stuck, but there it goes. So let me take off the carb. This is my last project of the day. So ironically, same guy about an hour and a half ago walked out in the street, and he says, "Just checking on the mower. I locked myself out. I got to walk to my daughter's house, and my wife's there, and I got to get the key." So I said, "I'll drive you." So it was about 3 miles away, dead of the afternoon. So I says, "You were going to walk?" He says, "Yeah, I was going to walk." So, yeah, you got to watch yourself here in the Florida heat. It can creep up on you. And he's probably in his early 80s, probably the same age as Lawrence Carroll. So, not that you shouldn't walk. but you got to be careful. You do it early in the morning or as the sun's going down or after sundown. Otherwise, it's a scorcher. Okay, I'll show you what's happening here. So this is going to need some resurrection. Here, let me try to get this Z-bend off. That was a pain. So my theory was right. We got oil pouring out of the intake tube here, just rolling out of there. So the cylinder's probably full. We'll probably have a big oil well here when I pull the plug. So this is going to be a little bit more than a carb clean. Okay, somebody's put an NGK plug on it. Let me knock that plug out. So I told him I'd work on this in the next couple of days, so I'm getting a head start. Another neighbor down the street brought me his mother's mower. It was a Husqvarna, and he wants me to fix that broken pull cord. So we got Texaco or Valvoline. We got something. So I got to deal with this oil spill. Son of a gun. Good oil going to waste. No wonder he couldn't pull it. He was hydrolocked with motor oil. Let that dribble out some more. I'll blast some compressed air in there to try to clean it out. I'm going to put a clip on the bail bar so I'll be able to rotate the engine. Okay, so we got a lot to do. Okay, let me separate the fuel line here. Don't know why in the world he would have put so much oil in this thing. It's just everywhere. So let me rinse this off real quick with some H2O. So I've got something clean to work with. Little grill degreaser from Dollar Tree. Squirt it down and blast. So sales are good. Sold one this morning. A couple of guys come out for a 22-inch pusher. I got $150 for it. Threw in a gas can. They were happy. They didn't have a gas can, so they wanted to know if they could bring it back for service as need be. I said sure. 7mm. Okay. Get my wide screwdriver and pop this. So this is a 2019. So I'm going to pop the center cartridge. If the secondary jet's going to be blocked up with crap because of the no filter. pop the center cartridge. We'll look at the secondary. Oh, not bad. Not bad at all. So I see some debris though through the plastic. There's some crap in there. Not much. We'll blast that off. Okay, that's looking good. We'll put the cartridge back together. One more air blast. I'm not going to worry about taking the float off. I think oil overflow is his deal, and maybe stale gas. I got to determine that yet. Put the bowl back on. Okay, that went on easy. The 2 screws that have the flat washer, that's what I'm looking for the bowl. These are 7s. Tree service scrapper guy just showed up with a regular Honda machine, not self-propelled, with a GCV 160. No air filter or cover, same situation like this. I gave the blade a turn, it didn't lock up, so I gave him 20 bucks for that. Okay, I'm gonna blast some air into the cylinder. Oh, it's still a ton of oil in here. You see it pouring out of the intake. What a mess. So this thing's gonna fog when it starts. That's fine because the mosquitoes are starting to come out. Okay, I'm satisfied that oil isn't dribbling out of the intake or out of the spark plug hole, but the cylinder is probably coated, so I won't be able to get 100% of it. Hopefully it's little bit will burn off quickly. You can see just by checking out the plug here. How oily it is. The gap is filled. So let me blast this off. Actually, do I have any stale gas? I do. I'm just going to dip it in some gas, rinse it, now blast it with some compressed air. NGK Bravo Kilo Romeo 5 Echo. Okay, coming along a little bit more than carb clean here. I'll service the wheels tomorrow. Make sure the front wheel drive is lubricated. Check the blade. He said the grass needs to be cut. Offered to have him take a loaner, but he didn't seem to think that was necessary at the moment. So I think he's able to wait for this. Okay, so that's on. We'll put the carby back on. I got to figure about the gas. Maybe pour this into a container and just put mine in, just to be on the safe side. I wouldn't want to contaminate a freshly cleaned carby. Okay, so we're cooking with fire here. I'm just going to take some compressed air, get rid of this grease, and I brought out a couple of filters, so we'll use a new filter on this. And I told him I'd come up with a cover for it. So normally, if it was my own, I'd wash this off, let it dry in the sun. But since you guys are here breathing down my neck, I got to keep plowing ahead. Okay, this is a full tank. I got to find something to put this gas in. Okay, what can I use? Okay, I got something. Just give me a minute. I gotta grab a funnel and I'll pour this gas out of this tank. Blast it out with some compressed air and start fresh. Okay, gas doesn't look too bad. I'm going to see if any water settles out. Oh, it is kind of cloudy. Give me a minute here to finish draining this. Hard to tell. It's still settling out. It may have water in it. Okay, that appears to be dry. I'm not going to cry. Okay, get it started here on the top and then do the hose. Get that started. Okay, I think we're doing good. Lanyards off, I'll deal with that later. Okay, let's put the recoil back on. I'm just gonna take a little oil and oil this thing up. Chasing down my oil can. It tried to run away, but I'm pretty fast for an old guy. So I had the landscaper guy come tonight. He picked up the second machine I fixed and paid me cash for the repair of the two. So I ended up keeping two of the machines. He had four, dropped off four. I fixed 2 out of 4. Took cash and 2 mowers as trade-in. He seemed really happy. Okay, that's a 7. I'm going to switch to an 8. He had a blower and a weed eater on the truck. He said, "You fix these?" I says, "Yeah." He says, "Well, these run. If I need work on them, I'll get a hold of you." And I told him, fine and dandy, because I'm somewhat handy. Okay, so this is coming along good. We de-oiled this thing. Jumping the gun here. I gotta put these screws in. Sevens go into the carb, into the plastic. These sheet metals go into the outer cage, 8mm. Okay, so what's the deal here? The cage off-centered. Okay, it's the second time I've done that. The cage is misaligned here, so I gotta start over. Take it off. See, I don't have it lined up with that crack here. Now I do. So that's the second time in a week. I haven't had my ducks in a row. Ho, ho, ho. Okay, now we're cooking with fire. Everything is lined up as it should be. Not bad for 2019. Okay, so that's that. Tank's clean. Let's deal with the beauty ring. Put those on. It's going to be two Torx screws here. 20s is what I used. I don't know if it's 20 or 25, but 20 seemed to take it off, so I went with that. They may be 25s, I don't know. 20 seems to be pretty tight. I think 20. I'm calling them 20, T20s. Okay. So while we have it up here, let's just confirm I drained enough oil off. Table's pretty flat. Let's see what we got. Oh, perfect, right at the top hole. So he's going to go home with 24 ounces of pure virgin Pennsylvania crude. Okay, let's gas it, put it down, and then go to town. So I'll probably deliver it to him. He pushed it down the street. I'll bring it to his front door. You know what I mean? Take care of your elders. Okay, so that's on. This is on. We de-oiled it enough, I hope. I'll put it down on the ground. We'll check it out. Without a doubt. So I'll do the, like I said, the final run through tomorrow, grease the wheels. Clucky, you tell me if it smokes. Remove this stuff. Just felt like it was grabbing something on the table. Is there anything under here? No, it looks clean. Don't want to chop up a useful oil rag. Okay. I think we're ready. You guys call your bets. I think with that oil, it's going to hinder us. I call it a 4-pull Annie. Take your bets. one pull, Annie. How long do you think that smoke-a-thon's gonna continue? I thought it'd be clearing up by now. I guess I'm gonna have to start it tomorrow and eliminate some mosquitoes. Put a bail bar on the clip on the bail bar and just let it burn through this excess oil. This thing must have been pouring out of every orifice. Well, I call it a success. I think he's going to be happy to mow his lawn. At least it gave us a Lawrence Carroll shine. Look at that. This thing's buffing out like a Lamborghini. I'll put the serial number down below, model number 20339, and the engine number and engine serial number. So I'm happy. I'm happy this turned out for him. That it was salvageable. He doesn't have to buy another machine. I get to kill a few mosquitoes, to talk to you kids and cadets. So all around turned out good. Any complaints, concerns, criticisms, you can email me, tommy.time@yahoo.com. So 2019 Toro SmartStow with the 725 worked out pretty good. You know the deal. You go out to a nice restaurant, tip your waitress and wait staff. They deserve it. They're working hard, dealing with rude people, trying to make a living. Okay, adios, amigos.